So this person's traumatized for the rest of their life, but God forbid we focus on that, right? No, we have to know the exact melanin count of the shooter. We have to hold up the Peter Griffin card. Let's pull it up real quick. Okay, so recently there was a shooting in Ohio at a Walmart. 4 were injured, 3 of them were critically injured. Hopefully they're doing okay. Thankfully, nobody was killed on scene, although I do think that the shooter, I don't think anybody was killed on scene. The shooter did, in fact, commit the big die, though. Committed the big sleep. So I do not believe that they were able to get the shooter into custody, but we're going to watch a real quick news clip about it. So we're going to watch a quick news clip about it, and then I wanted to talk about at least one of the reactions that I saw on Twitter.
Overnight, details emerging about a deadly shooting inside this Walmart in Beaver Creek, Ohio, a suburb of Dayton. Police responding to reports of an active shooter with customers running and screaming. Students at nearby Wright State University shaken up.
We saw one person getting gurneyed and getting taken away, and then another one not too long after. They could have went to a campus and not a Walmart, and it could have been us.
A witness posting a chilling account saying the shooter had a backpack and was holding a rifle and that he walked by her as he opened fire. Police confirmed the male suspect injured 4 people, then turned the gun on himself. Walmart saying, "We're heartbroken by what's happened. We're working closely with investigators."
The conditions of the victims right now is unknown as they were all transported to area hospitals for treatment.
This Walmart has been the scene of gun violence before. Back in 2014, a 22-year-old man holding a BB gun, which was for sale in the store and was out of the box, was shot and killed by a police officer after someone called 911 reporting a suspicious man with a rifle in the store. The victim's family.
Wow. Well, I guess that qualifies as gun violence, huh? I'm not used to the news saying that a police shooting is a form of gun violence. Kind of based.
Settled a wrongful death lawsuit with the city for $1.7 million. Once again, authorities confirm 4 people were injured in last night's shooting. The suspect has died. A motive remains unclear, and police have promised another update this morning.
Okay, well, there you go. So the only one dead, thankfully, right now is the suspect. Like I said, hopefully the others are okay. But I did want to go over at least one reaction I saw on Twitter. If you have any others, I might search for some others, like from bigger names. But it seems that this person is more concerned with the race of the shooter rather than, anything actually important. It has 1.6K likes. I see there's been another mass shooting at Ohio Walmart, but no info or pic of the shooter, despite the fact he was dead at the scene. I'm gonna guess that means it's either not a white guy or it's a white guy in a tutu, and the feds need more time to scrub his social media. So basically this person's saying, well, the reason that we haven't seen anything about the shooter yet is because they're either black or they're trans, right? That's really stupid, because I don't personally pay attention to when these details come out, but no matter when the details come out, they're gonna be like, oh, it's too late. We have to drag it out of them. They didn't do anything until we said anything about it. Look at this. When they posted it, 5 minutes after they posted it, they didn't have the details about the gunner, right? But now that, it's been a few days, now they decide to drop it. Oh, now because we pestered them for it, right? And it's no, they were going to come out with that eventually, I promise, okay? They have this idea in their heads that anytime there's a white shooter, they immediately point out the fact that they were white, and then they just focus in on that, when that's not the case at all. And the fact that they are their first focus is the race of this shooter is just disgusting, It's just gross, really. People could have died. They're critically injured and probably scarred for life. That's disgusting, man. Playing with a toy in a toy store isn't suspicious. I know, that whole thing is just crazy. I am glad that they described that as gun violence, though. Wasn't a mass shooting, 4 people injured. How many people does it have to be for a mass shooting? I don't know. Clearly that's less than 27 people or whatever, but that's still 4 people who got shot, and it was indiscriminate too. So I think that qualifies. The low body count tells me it wasn't a militia type. I'm just going by how the media describe it and ask why they suddenly decided to drop it. What do you mean? It wasn't dropped. This is from 10 hours ago. What do you mean suddenly decided to drop it? You mean the regular news cycle? It's these people just want they're just making shit up. They're just making shit up to get mad at. I'm pretty sure the shooter was white too. I have another post. In an unsurprising turn of event, guy turned out to be white. Second video. I guess the libs get away this time. Okay, well, let's take a look.
If you guys know anybody who's at Beaver Creek Walmart right now, call and check on your people. It's literally just shopping for Thanksgiving stuff. And this guy right past me with an assault rifle and started shooting.
I'm so sorry, girl.
I don't know if he shot people or if people are dead or...
So this person's traumatized for the rest of their life, but God forbid we focus on that, right? No, we have to know the exact melanin count of the shooter. We have to hold up the Peter Griffin card. Let's pull it up real quick. This except flip it. If we don't have this, like, what is even the point of covering the story at all, if you really think about it, right? Like, what's the point if we don't have this on hand to really get into the nitty-gritty?
What is going on? But I ran. So if you guys know anybody that's in Walmart right now, call and check on them, because
Jesus.
He shot like 10 times and I don't even know how much more afterwards, but I just know I'm so lucky to be alive. He literally walked right past me.
4 is literally the threshold. Nice. I think any time that somebody goes out in public with a firearm and like fires indiscriminately, it should be qualified as a mass shooting. Because even if nobody gets shot, it's still like the intention of the shooter. That is what that shooter set out to do, right? So regardless of how many people there were, they still intended to commit a mass shooting. Now you can argue like, yeah, the numbers, I would say it's a mass shooting because that was what the person intended to do. But like, as far as the number of people who got injured, like that would be where like murder, manslaughter, and injury comes into place, right? But a person whose intention was to do that shouldn't be charged less if nobody was injured or killed, you know? Like they still tried to do it. Intentionality is important.
He walked right past me.
I'm so sorry. Oh, God. Just heart-wrenching, man. Like, imagine you're a parent walking around with your kids at Walmart, you know? Just unthinkable. And this was in my state, you know? Like, really think about that. Like, really think about that.
He walked right past me, Cameron.
This is not that far from me. Relatively speaking.
I was scared. I thought you were inside. How do people do stuff like this?
Can you see what happened?
He walked right past me. He walked right past me. And he walked right past me. He walked past me and I looked at him because he had an assault rifle in his hand. And I was on the phone with Nat. And I said, this guy has an assault rifle in Walmart. And I looked back and then I just heard gunshots. And I just ran. And all I heard was gunshots.
Now, the second video, I believe, is the one that has the info on the race of the shooter. But the first one was still good, just to point out that the race doesn't matter, man. It really doesn't. Unless this person is like black and specifically comes out and says, I am black and I am shooting the whiteys, I don't care. I don't care about their race.
I have an active shooter at Walmart.
What happened?
Is there a good side of Ohio? Well, we did just enshrine abortion rights into our constitution, so there's that. I mean, it's not all bad. And we just legalized weed.
Oh my God. It was a tall, young, white guy.
There it is.
He had an army book bag on. And I swear I was confused. Like, I thought he had a BB gun. It was like...
Okay, but what about the tutu? He had a tutu on, right? And lipstick. He was a trans guy, right? Like, he was one of those trans women, right? Because that's important. That's the most important part to me, personally, is knowing whether the person was trans.
The long
if you think
assault
about it.
rifle. He just started shooting after he walked past me. Like, I had my mom and my grandma you watching over me, because how did that even happen?
You know what I hate is that if you try to show this video to somebody to prove to them that the shooter was in fact white, until we have confirmation, they're going to say that this video was a plant. Because they're going to be like, whoa, why would she say white? Why is that? Because they're trying to describe the guy. Like, that is a standard thing to do, is describe what the person looked like. And skin color is pretty important in that instance. You know, is description.
I called
Absolutely Queen Laura.
911 before.
Well, the thankful part here is that right now everybody's alive, and hopefully it stays that way. So if she does indeed have, and she could still have survivor's guilt, don't get me wrong, but the people who actually were the most severe victims of this particular tragedy can come out and speak out, and they can speak to her as well and say, listen, girl, this was not your fault. If they would like to do so, of course. Point being, like, this is not as bad as it could have been, I guess. Now, it shouldn't have happened at all, but, you know, you got to take as much good out of it as you can, I guess. Yeah, weed abortions for everybody.
And I couldn't even get through.
Yeah, well, I say he was tall guy discrimination, right?
My nerves are shot right now.
True, I'm 6'2". I take offense to that as somebody over 6 foot.
I'm scared to walk.
I would also be scared to go anywhere. Yeah, just a terrifying situation. You know, people being very normal about it, I guess. The freedoms given up with the passing of the Patriot Act should guarantee no acts of domestic violence are committed against Americans. The intelligence, yeah, okay, I don't care. It'd be smarter and less bigoted if you would have expectations that are based on statistics. Statistically, this person is most likely to be a white Christian right-wing male that regularly listens to Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, Steven Crowder, and Tim Pool. That is true, by the way. No, they're not. Mass shooters are disproportionately male, not disproportionately white given the population. They are disproportionately white. Because every time they talk about a Chicago mass shooting or whatever, it's like, that's gang violence, which is also bad, to be clear, but that's criminals versus criminals. You know, like, that's not a mass shooting. It's not the same beast. It's not. A mass shooting is carried out on innocent civilians. I'm not saying gang violence is good, but they are all criminals. You know, they are all part of criminal syndicates. It's not the same. And this person's just being racist by bringing up Chicago. Like, Chicago's, and they're going to say, what? I just said Chicago. Oh, Chicago's all black people now. Oh, you're the real racist. No, you're doing a dog whistle. Don't bullshit me. You know, they know exactly what they're doing. So, white lady uses mass shooting to perpetuate culture war and further political divide. True. I'm not the one letting all these mass shooters slip through their fingers despite being previously known to feds. What do you mean previously known? That is an indictment on, like, the gun culture that we have. Like, people can just go get guns way too easily. I'm sorry, it's just true. I'm not even against the concept of owning guns, but people can just get them way too easily. It's super easy, you know, even in places like California, like, it's way too easy, and that needs to change, you know? And also mental health, like, they always want to preach about mental health this, mental health that. Well, I'll tell you what's not helping people's mental health is when you do this stochastic shit of, like, we need to purge the country of immigrants, right? Or we need to abolish gender ideology or whatever. Kill gender ideology. That's not helping their mental health. I assure you of that. So, just another instance of conservatives being stupid, not focusing on the issue at all, let alone wanting to solve it. You know, just having a normal one. Hopefully everybody recovers. Like I said, this is closer to home than would be comfortable for most people. You know, it does scare me. It does scare me because my fiance is a teacher, and with the number of shootings in particular, like school shootings, I know this wasn't a school shooting, but it's tangentially related, right? Like, it makes me so nervous. So this is part of the reason I do what I do, is just to bring attention to this stuff as best I can with my tiny little corner of the internet and try to make some sort of impact so that this shit will at least not happen as often. But people like Mindy Robinson here just want to point at people's skin color, I guess, because that's what they're concerned with, right? Even though they say that's what the liberals are concerned with, skin color, when it's the conservatives, like, every time. All liberals, like, even liberals, those gross coastal elites who talk about, like, stripping guns away, right? That I don't agree with. I don't think we should, like, take all guns away from all people. That's a liberal bullshit. But think about where those liberals are coming from. They're coming from a good place. They want to reduce gun violence, and that's how they see fit to do it. They're wrong, but that's how they see fit to do it. Meanwhile, every time there's a mass shooting, conservatives come out of the woodworks, not to condemn the shooter. They immediately jump to the defense. Immediately. Every time. They're like, well, don't take away my gun. Well, don't blame my race of people. Don't blame my gender for this, right? Don't blame the straight cis people, or normal, as they would say, right? Don't blame me. Well, that's a really weird thing to do, man. I gotta say, that's really weird that you would immediately jump to defense like that, you know, and kind of gross. You know, people are in the hospital because of this. This has happened, like, yesterday. Like, come on. Just really gross. But yeah, like I said, I do hope everybody recovers okay, and I'll try to stay updated on their status. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.